Do more by doing less. With me, Charles Alexander, for small business owners, startups, and busy folks.
Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Just taught a workshop on Do More by Doing Less. Yes, my favorite topic. And before we started, I asked people a new question. So, hey, tell me what your ideal schedule would be. What do you mean? So if you could just work the number of hours you wanted to work in a week, what days, what would that look like? I got a variety of different answers, but there was a lot of commonality here. So first and foremost, first person I talked to said they wanted to work only Monday through Thursday, 7 to 12. That'd be get their kids dropped off, knock off early throughout the day. They'd only focus on the things they wanted to do that made the most impact. Take off a little early, eat a leisurely lunch, hit the gym, go pick the kids up. Life's good. Another person wanted, firefighter style hours. They wanted to work Monday through Wednesday, 10, 12-hour days, and then have a 4-day weekend. Fantastic. Another one wanted to work Monday, Tuesday, take off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with 6-hour days. And it just kept getting a variety of hours. So they all had some of the same concepts, just different ways they wanted to do it. And then I asked them a second question. So cool. You freed up this time with this ideal schedule. What would you do with some of the freedom you had? Again, had a variety of answers, but a lot of similarities. People wanted, more than anything, they wanted to spend time with family. Other people wanted to do some local traveling. Other people wanted to read more, like actual books under a tree. I don't know why we always have to be under a tree to read. Some folks wanted to hike, common answer. Other people wanted to volunteer more. A couple of them wanted to free up a day and to still do what they did for work because they love doing it. But I want to have a day where I just create all of my own content, record all my own videos, just podcast all day, or just go to nonstop little networking meetings with people that I want to learn from and show interest in, but I just don't have time for. What was universal with all these folks? Well, they all wanted to spend time doing what they loved doing, what fired them up, what got them excited, and would allow them to create a decent living. So here was kind of the catch to that, though. As I asked all these folks this stuff, no one answered. So, hey, Susie, what would your ideal work week look like? Ooh, I'd like to do Monday through about half of Saturday work. I don't know, 55, 60 hours. And I want to skip around from project to project, never really feeling like I'm accomplishing anything. And I want to be drained all the time. The answers always circled back with this ideal schedule that they wanted: freedom. Freedom to do what they want, when they want it. They wanted to have more time available for family, friends, help other people, to work on their passions, to do things they wanted to do. Nobody ever said, I just want to work endlessly, earn tons and tons of money, but never give up working so I can take all the money that I earn and spend it on things that I don't have time to use. And that's the ironic thing with this. We have the ability to free up time now. We have the ability to do what we want to do now, especially this day and age more than ever before. And when I ask people about, do you want to earn more money? Everybody always says, yeah, it wouldn't hurt to earn a little more money. Well, what are you going to do with that money? Rarely do they tell me about all of the fancy toys, upgrading car, upgrading house. They usually say, I want more money to buy my freedom. And more money can, in fact, buy you freedom, but rarely do we do it correctly. We earn more money, and then the process we took to earn more money actually took up more of our time because we didn't do it correctly. So here's the problem. We don't identify why we want the ideal schedule, and then we don't set ourselves up to create an ideal schedule. You can have an ideal schedule now, and you don't have to earn extra money to do it. And ironically, if you set up an ideal schedule and you stick to it, then you'll end up earning more money anyways because you're doing the right things the right way, and then you'll have extra money for that travel or the experience you want to purchase in addition to having more freedom. Give you a couple of examples. We got client A here. Client A, this guy, he's a solopreneur. Means he's just rocking on his own, got a couple of things he might outsource here and there. And he was desperate, talked about it, wanted a 4-day work week. Wanted to work to create the perfect schedule. So I sat down together. We looked at his schedule. So, all right, Monday through Thursday, 5-hour days, no interruptions, head down, focused. Great. We made some mistakes along the way in setting this up. I followed up with him the following week and said, "Hey man, how's your ideal work week? What's going on?" And he legit act like, well, things are fine. Things are fine. I'm good. I'm good. Okay, but did you work the 4-day work week we discussed? He almost acted like he didn't know what I was talking about. So you remember you sat in my office, we created this. Yeah, no, don't really. Yeah, that was just kind of a thought. No big deal. Everything's fine. Okay, that was a phone call we're having. All right, well, guess we'll just pretend that never happened. He did follow up with an email later. Felt a little guilty, and what he was telling me is that he admitted that he just got overwhelmed, fell for the first distraction, and then explained to me how this schoolhouse stuff doesn't work in the real world. Okay, then we go on to client B. Client B had a different plan. This is where we had a better thought process. So we compared it to like saving money or losing weight. So if you want to create an ideal, let's say, weight for yourself, well, first and foremost, you have to know where your calories are coming from, how many calories you're consuming, and how many calories you're burning. You can't just say I want an ideal weight and then hit the gym and change your diet, but not know where you're currently at. So you have to come up with, first and foremost, what do I get out of my ideal weight? How will it make me happy? How will it make my knees feel? How will it allow me to be healthier for my family? That way, once you come up with that concept, then you can make a decision on whether or not you want to eat something you shouldn't eat or skip a time to go to the gym because you've already identified what the result is from being healthier and then kind of what the budget was to do that, so to speak. So, for example, if a coworker, friend says, "Hey, let's go to O'Charlie's for lunch." All right, well, you can go to O'Charlie's for lunch, but if you can't find a healthy option, you go in there and you eat the extra chicken on the pecan fried chicken salad, then you have to decide, well, that's going to make me less healthy. Me being less healthy means I have less time to spend hiking with my family because I don't feel as well and I can't make the entire trip. See the concept. You've decided what the result would be. So when the interruption, or in this case, the food pops in that you shouldn't be eating, you can make a comparison of, does this fit the ideal diet at this point? Same with money. Somebody offers you a chance to spend more money, then you can say, well, I can spend more money doing this one thing with you that I don't really want to do, or I can decide if I should continue saving for that beach trip with my family. So in this case, client B did kind of some of the same thing, but we identified her why. She made a long list of what she wanted to do with her additional time. She had 2 small kids at home, and she wrote it down and she visualized it. I mean, we went full bore woo-woo with this. She decided she wanted to read with them more, had specific books picked out. Llama Llama Red Pajama being one of them. She wanted to play at Mary's Magical Place, really cool playground close to where we live. She wanted to play on this particular swing set, on these monkey bars, and had thought about it, had visualized it. Wanted to watch more SpongeBob. God, why, I don't know. Even picked out the episodes that she wanted to watch with her kids. Wanted to volunteer at her local church with her kids at, on the food bank and help. They were going to get these specific cans. Okay. You've got your ideal schedule in mind, and now you've got the trade-off, and you have, visualized it down to a T. So every time a possible distraction popped up at work, she knew that she was going to have to make a trade to take it on. So was she going to go to an extra meeting that she didn't have time for? Was she going to listen to a specific client that was a low-paying client that wanted to take up an hour of her time to tell her why all the things were wrong in the world? Now, previously, she would have just said yes to it because, well, that's part of my job. Well, it'll only take a little bit of time. But what they did was that went into her schedule. So the 5-hour day is now a 6-hour day. That's okay. You can have a 6-hour day, but that 1 hour has to come from something. Are you going to sleep 1 hour less? You're already not sleeping enough. You're going to not run some of these errands that you have to run? No, you got to do those. So that means 1 hour less of reading Llama Llama Red Pajama with your child. That means 1 hour less going to Mary's Magical Place. Wasn't willing to make those trade-offs. she knew ahead of time what her why was, and she had made it so tangible that she could make a decision now. Now, sometimes some of these distractions at work, maybe you're tired and you're weak and say, all right, one hour less of church volunteering. But after you do that a few times, you realize very quickly, that's not what I want. I want my ideal schedule. I've discovered my why. I've looked at my time budget, so to speak. And now I can make a very clear decision. And that's what she started doing. And it's not universal. Not everybody's going to have her exact same schedule. They just have the exact same excuses. And you have all of the different issues that you run into. I keep referring to going to the office. Most of the entrepreneurs I work with are home-based, and that has its own set of issues. So if you create an ideal schedule and you've come up with what you're going to do with the new time bound, you need to share that with the other people that you live with, especially your spouse. And if they're home, think of it like when you're getting interrupted all the time and you're working from home and you're explaining, hey, you can't really interrupt me. I'm working on this so I can have more freedom or time later. Or worse yet, when you break out that focus, you're unable to retrace your steps and get back on track. And it takes you, as we've said before, 23 minutes to get back on track, which eats up once you add several 23 minutes together. For example, if you're thinking, oh, I'm about to crack this code, and once I do it, we'll close 30% more on leads through this one. Hey, did you let Dolly out? Oh, yeah, no, I don't know. All right. So all I got to do is change the copy on this follow-up, and then I'll call. Well, will you let her out? In 1 minute. Okay. Where was it? Okay. I'll call. And then after I call, I'll say, well, can you do it now? Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Hope she really needs to pee because it's just cost us about $19,000. What? That's the conversation you need to have and explain not to do that. Sorry, that was a little rift. So set up boundaries at home. Figure out your why. Tell other people about it. So first and foremost, if you want to create your ideal schedule, you got to find out where your time is currently going. I've used these analogies many times, and I'll continue to use them. It's like setting up a financial budget or a food budget. You have a time budget. Find out where your time is currently going. Second, identify what you would do with the extra time that you now want to save and create for yourself. So many of us, we want freedom. Well, you've got the freedom. What are you going to do with it? For me, it's more time in the gym or playing basketball with my son or driving my daughters to school or cooking or swimming. And I don't want to trade that off for a low energy work business task. It's not worth it. Then you create your ideal schedule, looking at the things that only you can do, that light you up, that you're great at, looking at the things that you're going to batch together that you haven't outsourced yet. And then you outsource, and then you get rid of all this other stuff. You create that ideal schedule. And then when an interruption wants to pop in, you can clearly weigh it out. Is it more important than going to the gym? Is it more important than traveling with my family this weekend? I tell people, when you create that ideal schedule, create each of those blocks and treat them like a doctor's appointment. A doctor's appointment is something that you wouldn't let any random item interrupt. You want to go, let's say you go into the chiropractor because your back hurts. You're not going to let little things block that off, like needing to look up a recent real world event and read about it for an hour, or checking football scores, or watching YouTube clips of Will Ferrell, which are fantastic, by the way, texting nonstop in a thread because you feel left out in it, or checking your email every 20 minutes, doom scrolling, or just doing something a VA could do. You wouldn't do that. You'd keep your schedule intact. You'd create that doctor's appointment and you wouldn't let anything else interrupt it. So back to client B, she still falls off the wagon now and then, but she's in a really good place. She has her ideal schedule and she's making it work. Client A still wants help from time to time, still calls in and complains about all of the interruptions and how busy he is, but is unwilling to create his why in his time schedule. And, well, his revenue and his health and well-being look like it. Wait, don't run off just yet. Do me a big favor, hit the little plus sign to subscribe, scroll down wherever you are and leave a very honest 5-star review and tell other people why they should be listening. And if you don't, an angel may in fact lose its wings. True story. Have a great day.